uniting mind, a graceful exchange, embracing diversity, a graceful exchange, honoring God, a graceful exchange, where wisdom meets harmony in every conversation.
That you're here tonight, do me a favor. Why don't you like and share? Do that for me. Let's take this moment, like and share. Like and share. Let's like and share. Do me the favor, like and share. All right. Sharing is free. We always say sharing is free. We're here tonight. We are live. Can I say that?
Yes.
We're here in the room. And so we're able to go ahead and have great dialogue and to interact with our audience on tonight. On last week, it was a pre-recorded show, and we had quite a few of our supporters who were a little offended. They were bothered. They thought we were ignoring them. They were putting their comments out there, and nobody was acknowledging. Well, tonight we can acknowledge y'all that we are in the room. We are live and in living color. All right. So do me the favor, like it, share it, share, say hello, say good evening, grace and peace, kingdom blessings, something, say something. All right, we're here. It is again the Graceful Exchange Live podcast, right? We are often imitated but never duplicated. And so it's good to be at the table with a great group of people. On tonight, we are here with our co-host, Asia Sade.
Hey, y'all.
Dr. Baker.
What's up?
Tony.
What up?
And Cherry.
Hello.
All right. And so we are excited. We're ecstatic about being here on tonight. And let's have a good time. We're going to have a good time. We are going to have a good time.
Yes, yes, yes.
Our live audience is a little dead tonight. So I'm going to say it again. We're going to have a good time. See, they don't know when to say something. We're going to have a good time. Lord have mercy.
Jesus.
See, you miss 1 week. 1 week. We miss 1 week and they don't know what to do, you know. So make some noise, our live studio audience.
There we go.
All right now. Y'all sound mighty good to me. Y'all sound mighty good. All right, we're going to have a good time on tonight. And we, again, are ecstatic to join you wherever you are. We are glad to be a part of where you are. All right. And we got some good stuff lined up for you. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Now I'm sleepy, so y'all know it's going to be good.
Oh, Lord.
Disclaimer.
When I'm sleepy, that means we're going to have a time tonight.
Help us, Lord.
As they say, mighty lamb. Right?
Mighty Lamb.
On bro. No cap. We're going to have a good
I
time.
think we retired that one.
Did y'all on bro?
Yeah,
They don't say that no more?
we're not going to get
No cap? They don't say it no more either? Oh, okay.
It's okay.
All right, so we'll stick with mighty lamb. Mighty lamb. Lamb.
He said, "My line." He's sleepy.
I told y'all I'm sleepy. This is gonna be
Starting
interesting.
already.
Let's get started.
It's gonna be interesting. We like to have a good time. You know, if you don't like to laugh and have a good time, this ain't the show for you.
Okay.
You know, we like to have a good time and to have real conversations. All right. And so on tonight, we are talking about who told you to do. Who told you to do? The struggles of growing what you were never instructed or called to do. Right? Who told you to do? Who told you to do? All right. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Thank you, Antoine. I saw that. He said, no cap, we going to have a good time. Yes, sir. I love it. All right. All right. So we're going to get started tonight with.
Go with social media.
Is that what we do? Or we do our business?
We typically do social, but we can go business, whichever one you want to do. Business sponsor spotlight starts with the Tim Jones Global Mentoring Academy. Ministry and business mentorship is available. All programs require a minimum of 1 year commitment. There are bi-weekly general sessions, private one-on-one sessions via Zoom. And if you know someone who is out of state, they are able to get this accountability all year long on Zoom. All right. So if you or someone you know is interested in ministry or business mentorship or a combination of the two, have them email timjonesglobal1@gmail.com. Again, that's timjonesglobal1@gmail.com and state your interest in the mentorship program. All right. With the Tim Jones Global Mentoring Academy. Remnant Empowerment Center has been phenomenal 2024. All right. If you did not know, you are hearing it first now. If you have not had a chance to experience this new experience that we have here at Remnant Empowerment Center, you are certainly missing out. It is called the Couch Experience, and we have a time, okay? The year of transformative healing from within. We are healing from within right here on the couch. All right. It is a whole new wave, a whole new experience of glory right here in Remnant Empowerment Center. And again, we have an amazing time. So Sundays, our services, prayer starts at 10:30. The experience starts at 10:45. Wednesday nights, prayer starts at 7:15, and the experience starts at 7:30. And it is hosted none other by our own apostle, Dr. Timothy M. Jones Sr., the spiritual clinician. That is right here at 2324 Orchard Street, Blue Island, 60406. Invite somebody, come on out. Consider this your welcome and your invite to our couch experience. All right. We hope to see you on a Wednesday or Sunday. The American Global Christian Chaplain Association is registering for new trainees. If you or someone you know is interested in becoming a chaplain, you want to visit agcca.org and hit that registration tab where you can submit an application to register. All right. Again, you register online by going to agcca.org under registration, where you can submit an application, for your opportunity to train as a chaplain. Orchard Street Christian Daycare Center is hiring for a toddler teacher and a floating teacher's assistant. If you or someone you know is a qualified candidate, please have them submit a resume to oscdcemployment@gmail.com. And last but not least, Orchard Street is also enrolling for toddlers. It is our 1-year anniversary for our toddler class, and we are super excited to grow and have more toddlers join us. So if you have a toddler or you know someone that does and they are interested in quality education, send them over to Orchard Street, 2324 Orchard Street, Blue Island, Illinois. Our telephone number is 708-489-5324. Hours of operation are 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., open Monday through Friday. All right. You can also send an email for more information to Orchard Street Christian Daycare@gmail.com. And that concludes our business sponsor highlights.
All right, y'all heard it on the Graceful Exchange live podcast. All right, well, we have some great things going on. You're always encouraged to share with us the Remnant Empowerment Center, the couch experience, for an authentic worship experience of experiencing God. It's a powerful experience every week. It's a powerful. We are a growing
Yes.
and growing ministry. God is really blowing our minds in this season in how he is growing. The Bible says that he adds to the church daily as he sees fit. And so we're grateful that God sees fit to add to Remnant Empowerment Center, because he's surely, truly sending the folks in the place. All right. Again, I did see somebody said they were ready to sign up. I don't know what that was for. I don't know if that's for the mentoring academy or if it's for the chaplaincy, whatever it is. All right, get signed up. If you're trying to sign up for chaplaincy, go to our website of agcca.org, right?
Yes.
agcca.org, and go to the registration and complete the registration. All right. We're hiring and all of the good stuff that Asia mentioned. Make sure that if you're qualified, you're interested, send us your resume. All right. Good evening again to all of you. Again, this is the Graceful Exchange live podcast. We are live. We're here. And so we're able to interact with our audience today. All right. So we do want you to know that we are here in the room and we're able to interact with you. And we say good evening to those of you that have joined. Do me y'all hear?
You can hear me?
Y'all can hear us? Can anybody hear?
Oh. Yes.
hear.
Okay.
All right.
Help, Lord. Yeah. Fix it, Jesus. What?
Hallelujah. All right. So this is the one. This is
The
the
computer is not charging.
all right. So this is the one, the post that we chose today. And the post is by Joseph Waller. It says, "Don't bash those who God used to bless your life. Don't bash those who God used to bless your life." This is by Joseph Waller. All right, let's talk about it real quick. Don't bash those who God used to bless your life. Talk about it, saints.
All right.
I think a lot of times that's what happens, though. A lot of times people forget the bridge that, they crossed. So once they get to the other side, oh, I don't need that no more. I'm not gonna need that bridge. I'm not gonna cross it. But you never know. They say don't bite the hand that feeds you, and that's simply that. So you never know who God is going to use to, help you get to your next. Who He's going to use to bless you, whatever the case. So that's why they say treat everybody right, but especially those who bless you, because again, you never know who, you just don't know. Plain and simple. So yeah, that's
While the blessings are good and you're happy and the blessings are going forth, everything is good. But as soon as something go on where you perceive in your own mind that something went wrong, now it's another side of the story, and you want to talk about those who God has sent to bless you. Now it's not a blessing because you're angry, you're mad or whatever. And so I can agree with that. You don't bless those who God sent. You don't bash those or them who God has sent to bless you, because you never know. Those will be the same people who will have to stand up for you and will have to come to your rescue, whether you know it or not. So yeah, while the getting is good, you're fine. But as soon as something go on that you don't like, then it's a different story.
All right. Don't bash those who God uses to bless your life. Anybody got anything to say?
Just stop coming for the people who you know have blessed you. This is really that simple. Even if you disconnect, you don't have to be negative to those who have already been a blessing. It's kind of an oxymoron to be negative to the people who have come into your life and blessed you, and you turn around and make them seem like they've done nothing or have been nothing or are bad people, because when you were getting blessed, they were not. So just, if you don't have anything good to say, let's keep it quiet, keep it cute, right? Shh. Stop, just hush. Because again, everything is good when you're getting blessed and when your hand is out. But then when it's not going your way, or when you can't get the upper hand over a person, or when you don't have control, when they're no longer doing, now all of a sudden it's a different story. It's a bit of like I said, an oxymoron to me, and a little bit of a delusion.
And on the flip side too, what if that person that was supposed to bless you, what if they didn't listen to God? What if they decided not to because of what you say? Oh, I don't really care for you. Nah, God, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna bless them. I'm gonna just take that punishment, But they didn't. They listened and blessed you, regardless of how they felt about you, whatever. Listening to God. Okay, you say bless them, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it with the right spirit and the right heart. So I don't think it's fair even to come back like now you got a problem, because of whatever, creating problems or whatever. Now you want to put your mouth on those who blessed you and forget that they were obedient even to bless you, out of their own, not in their own strength, but just listening to God. God used them to bless you, regardless of how they felt about you, how you felt about them. So a lot of times we got to take out our personal feelings about people and look at it. If it's a God thing, let it just be that.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that looking at the word, the statement he says, don't bash.
Right.
Right. And so I don't care what somebody has done or what you don't agree with and all of that. That bash means to criticize or to speak negatively about something or someone. We can't constantly preach Jesus and all of the rest, and yet constantly speak negatively, right? Or criticize, especially people who had at one point been a blessing.
Yeah.
And people, I look at it as double-mindedness. People speak well of you. Well, think about it. We keep talking about Jesus. One moment it was Hosanna, next moment it was crucify him. That's kind of what I take from that, right? Jesus was so wonderful in working miracles. But when it came time to crucify him, the folks that he worked miracles for didn't stand up for him. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, it's the bash part that stands out to me. You won't always agree with people. Just learn how to move around. You know, because when you start bashing, that's what makes you look bad.
You look stupid.
So, because it's impossible for somebody to be celebrated this moment and the next moment again, they're trash, right? Because that truthfully, that makes the individual look crazy.
Yeah, it looks stupid.
Rachel said it's psychotic.
Yeah. I saw that. Rachel
she said
put psychotic.
Yeah.
Because that's what it gives. It gives that psychotic kind of, because again, I don't know. I don't know.
That's good, Dr. Glandine. She says people are unappreciative of help / being blessed, and there is a sense of entitlement. They have a supposed to do attitude.
That's
true.
That is really good.
That's
really
true.
good.
That's true.
Because that's very true that people do. They are unappreciative, you know, or they're appreciative with words. Right. But then their deeds, their actions, and all the rest speaks against it. So I agree. There is a thing of entitlement. I believe that's a lot of the reason why we deal with the era and the attitude responses that we deal with today. Because most people they have that spirit of entitlement. Yeah. They feel like you just have to do, you should do, because you can do, that type of thing.
Jesus.
What Rachel says, you can't have your way. You can't control someone or something. Now you have a trauma.
A tantrum.
Tantrum. Y'all, I see I'm speaking.
Okay.
Tantrum.
All right.
A tantrum. And forget the good stuff. I can read.
I'm sorry about the whole thing.
Shoot,
With your 7 degrees. I know you can read, better guy. Go ahead.
A tantrum and forget the good stuff. Y'all have your way.
Papa John said that sounds like a person that's trying to serve 2 masters.
It's definitely.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that. I didn't see that what Papa John said, but I'm glad you said that because I've been sitting here and I've been looking at what Willie Taylor said. And he said that's the slippery slope for him because God will use some to bless you, but when they are not under the anointing, they're mean as a junkyard dog. So is that really God using them to bless you? And you just made the statement about what Papa John had said. But the thing about it is that really God? Would God use someone who's not under the anointing? How even are they really hearing from God? You know, so I would think on that side, if you that mean and God told you to do it, God haven't told you to do something for me and you that mean about doing it, you know, I don't know. What do you guys think of that? Because
I do.
That they would be mean?
Because if he will use your enemies to bless you, I don't think it has an attitude being mean and anything got nothing to do with it. God will use the most if the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous, he'll take the wicked, he'll take the mean, he'll take the evil, he'll take the one who spreads discord to bless your life. So I don't think that really has anything to do with it. I think at the end of the day, God again will use people who don't even like you to be your greatest promoter. He can use their lies to put your name in the wind. He can use all kinds of things. And that's why the Bible says that he uses the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. So it may make no sense to us, but God can use those things and those people to bless us. You can be evil and mean. It doesn't matter.
So you just deal with that as still receiving. Because as you stated, so that's how that question is answered.
Yeah, God will use that food. He will use that food. Yes, he will. He'll use,
okay, Mr.
He'll
Willie
use
Taylor,
somebody
your answer.
who don't want to deal with us. Who don't like. He'll use it. The part that stands out is, again, don't bash them that God used to bless you, because he will use your enemies to bless you. Right? But you don't bash. You don't have to speak negative, because you wasn't speaking negative when you were receiving.
Correct.
When you were receiving, you wasn't speaking negative. And that's typically what happens. Actually, Pastor Joseph Waller, the one who posted this, he is on here even now. So, Apostle, man of God, this was a powerful and a good post. And yes, sir, it's our privilege to share it with the world. But yeah, we don't have to bash people. We don't have to bash them, because at one point they were a blessing. So let's go ahead and acknowledge the blessing that people are to us and move around. It doesn't mean, again, people got to stay in your life. Maybe you blessed me for a season. Now let me walk away and still be honorable towards the one who blessed me. I don't have to dog you. I don't have to bash you. I don't have to attack you. I don't have to accuse you, lie on you, and nothing else. I don't have to do none of that. We have to master how to walk away, walk off, disconnect, and all the rest, and be graceful. Gotta master.
Yeah, that's like what we talked about a few weeks ago. A holy hush.
Yeah.
You know, learning when to be quiet too, because again, it'll make you look double-minded. You know, schizo and psychotic, all these things too. So yeah, just be quiet. You got nothing nice to say. And then sometimes too, we're not feeling everybody who bless us. Just being honest. So sometimes it makes it hard for us to receive because of the person it's coming from. But then once you recognize, okay, this is a God thing, just remove how you feel about the person. Look at it for what it is. God knew what I was in need of. He knew all of that, and he blessed me this way. I don't like where it came from, but it came. So let me be grateful in that, and
My Lord. All right. That was a good one. All right. So don't bash those who God used to bless you. I feel like this. If you feel like that people shouldn't be honored after the blessing, don't receive the blessing from them.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just start because I know I can only talk about me, as I often say. Don't bash me after I paid your rent. I'm sorry. Don't bash me after I took you and your family on vacations. Don't bash me. When you were receiving and taking and taking and taking and taking, I was the most wonderful.
Couldn't have been a mean person
ever.
Right?
You see what I'm saying? Right. But then after you sucked everything out of me, now you want to bash.
Or he's not just say no.
Yeah.
You had to suck everything out. I just said no this time.
Sometimes you become horrible and all these things once you've taken all the blessings and all of that. Now they have no more to give. Then that's when you bash. But you've taken you've depleted me. So I can't bless you anymore until God blesses me. But if he tells me not to bless you, move on to something else. How am I horrible now?
Well, you know what? I saw somebody post that read something like, when you get through telling your story, don't forget to tell all the times that I've blessed or helped you with what I've done. And I think that's the part. People, they come up with their own narrative of things, but they'll never talk about all of that stuff that you've done. And so this will take us the rest of the night.
It will.
So we're going to go ahead. Great post, Pastor Waller. We're going to go ahead and listen to our artist of the week. Our artist of the week is My Soul Says Yes. This is by Russell Harris Jr. and it is featuring Maestro Zay. Maestro Zay, who is in, well, he was in the
We got up out the room. Skated up out of here. My Lord.
Did he leave the building? He left the- did he take my daughter with him? Lord Jesus, they didn't snuck up out of here. Oh Lord. Well, Maestro Zay is featured on this particular project. Again, this is My Soul Says Yes by Russell Harris Jr. And Maestro Zay, who was just here in the room. Now here it is. He was here for Bible class. Then you're sitting here, you know, then you're sitting here.
The introduction of things.
And then gone. Slipped out the door.
Right on out.
He slipped out the door.
That is hilarious.
Bless her heart.
Right.
Yeah,
that was the daddy.
That's why I said bless her heart. Because I do. Tatiana. Ooh, we on live.
See? That's daddy right there.
They gone.
They gone. Y'all gonna keep making our apostle do this. Let's play this music. My soul says yes.
Lord, my soul, oh, my soul says yes. Yes to your will and yes to your way. I'll go and I'll obey. Lord, my soul, oh, my soul says yes. Yes to your will and yes to your way. I'll go and I'll obey. Lord, we bless your name, God. Come on, y'all.
Get it up out of here.
Yeah. I'll go. Lord. Yeah.
Oh.
Trust, I'll go. I'll trust, I'll go. I'll trust, I'll go. I'll trust, I'll trust, I'll trust, I'll go. I'll trust, I'll go. I'll trust, I'll go. Everybody say I'll trust. I'll trust.
y'all think? Y'all think this is hot?
All right.
I think it's hot. Come on. All right. I saw some I love this and hot and fire.
Fire again.
Say it again.
Fire.
Yes, Lord.
Shut up in my bones.
Glory.
All right. The maestro himself, Maestro Zay, right? He's back in the room, y'all. I tried to get him to come up here and say hello.
Tie back too. Hey there.
Oh. All right. All right. That was Maestro Zay. And he's the featured artist with Russell Harris Jr. He's featured singing that song on Russell Harris Jr.'s single. It is on all digital outlets. Go ahead and download it. Do me the favor and go and download it. We are excited and ecstatic about how God is advancing these young artists. All right. And so he's serious. Zay is serious about the ministry that he gives through song. And so let's support Russell Harris Jr. featuring Maestro Zay. My soul says yes. All right.
All right.
All right. Let's jump in on this subject tonight. Ooh,
Jesus.
Lord. Let's jump on.
Mighty.
Who told you to do?
Can it go again?
See, I wasn't gonna say nothing.
He turned
All
his head.
right. Every time I turn my head, God bless y'all.
Who told them to?
Right. Who told y'all to do? Right. So who told you to do? Who told you to do? Question mark. Who told you to do? The struggles of growing, you were never instructed or called to do. All right. So who told you to do? Who told you to do? So give me some background to this. Asia Sade.
Oh goodness. Well, oftentimes
Can you
people are moving out of turn and calling it God. Sometimes people are so deep and wonderful that everything is, well, the Lord said, and I need to do because God said. And sometimes they're moving out of emotion. Sometimes you're moving based on your own feelings, your own heart, your own empathy for people. Sometimes you're doing things because you might care for the person. You might have a heart for the situation. So there are instances where people are doing things on their own terms. We're not always led by God. Then there are other instances where we are led by God, right? God has instructed us to do a thing. We were called, we were sent, we were instructed for sure, right? To do a thing, and we fulfill that thing, right? And we see the benefits and the rewards of those things. But again, in this instance, it's the struggle of doing what you were not called or instructed to do. So this is for that first person who is moving based upon their own feelings, their own thoughts, their own emotions, moving based upon how they want to see things happen, putting things in their own hands, taking control of everything, right? This is the person who is moving out of turn. Maybe you move too fast. Maybe you're moving a little too slow, right? It is a matter of doing and you weren't told to do. God didn't tell you to do that thing. You were not led or instructed by God. Your leader didn't tell you to do or move, right? You just decided to go do and move on your own, and now you find yourself in a rut, in the wrong place, at the wrong time, doing the wrong thing. Just everything is out of whack, right? So personally, look, I don't want the saints to be in the wrong space at the wrong time. So let's think about it. Who told you to do and move how you do? Think about yourself, everybody on the live. Have you done some things that you were not instructed to do by God, that you were not called to do? Have you went somewhere that you shouldn't have went? Have you said some things you shouldn't have said? Did you give some money where you shouldn't have gave it, right? Did you do some things that you were not instructed or called? Did you go join that church? Oh, yep, I said it. Did you go join that church? I'm about the Lord said that he did not.
Well, I don't even want to talk about that.
My-
I don't know
That's
how
why
many
we
people.
gonna find the
How many
struggle.
people can't get talking about the Lord told me. The Lord told me to
Listen,
come
and they
and
say
submit
it.
under your leadership. The Lord told me to join your church.
Mm,
These folks got God seeming like he bipolar.
I'm
Sure,
telling you.
see, I always got a question to that. Who is your Lord? Because mine ain't bipolar. He
That's
ain't
what
none
I'm
of those
saying.
things. So we got two different lords going
But
on.
you know, that's the favorite thing people
Yeah.
say. Lord sent
Lord-
me here.
Mhm.
The Lord sent me
I
to
was
help you.
the
No, the Lord
sent
sent
me.
you so I can help you.
And most people
Get
that you
delivered.
find that's saying that and that's moving out of turn, and then the struggle is there because they find themselves coming to places where they think they're going to become relevant.
Mm.
True.
Uh-huh. They
True.
want to become relevant, and so they move out of turn.
Mhm.
And you know, they think it's other people move because and find themselves in a struggle because God never told them to do it, but they saw the glitz and the glamour.
Exactly.
And so they thought this is it, and they move on their own, and God never told them to move, and that's when it becomes a struggle.
Right. So who told you to do? How again?
Self.
All right. So let's see what Antoine said.
Okay.
He says, I have a question regarding the person who fits the first example. If love is the motivating factor and love is a fruit of the spirit, would it be looked at like it would be attributed back to being done by God's will by bearing that fruit?
Okay.
So what was the first example?
Well, the first person was the one who moved out of turn based on their emotion, based on how they
Oh,
were feeling. You know,
okay.
having maybe you just had a heart or empathy, but God didn't really tell you to do it. You just, oh, I got, you know, I don't want to see you struggle. I got it. I help you. You know, I've been in that situation before, and I don't want you to suffer through it. So I'm gonna help you. That type of person. And he's saying that if love is the motivating factor, love being the fruit of the spirit, would it be looked at or attributed back to being done by God's will by bearing that fruit?
Well, anybody.
We're gonna turn
Well,
we're gonna turn our attention to you.
Anybody can answer, but at the end of the day, no, you get up there. Anybody want to say something?
The heart is wicked. You know, a
Uh,
lot of times our emotions and our love for people get us in trouble. So we do things out of emotion. A lot of times we find ourselves more hurt. We do more damage to ourselves because we love people. We don't want to see them struggle. We don't want to see them suffer. But sometimes people have to go through some things. Sometimes it has to grow them up. Sometimes they have to learn and grow through those seasons. And we can't save everybody from that.
right.
Sometimes we just have to allow people to, one, get to know God, you know, call on him. You can't call me every time. I may come sometimes. Sometimes I'm not going to answer the phone because I don't want to hear it. Because one, I'm not God. Two, I don't always have the capacity. He does. And I don't want us to become someone's God. So then, you know, he move us out the way, remove us because we're playing him. And a lot of times we find ourselves in those situations too, but we feel like we have to save everybody and we just can't.
So think about this, because he's saying, if love is the motivating factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, sometimes love is the motivating factor for folk to get married, right?
Go.
I said sometimes, you know, sometimes I will hope all the time,
Yeah.
but sometimes
Love ain't enough.
love it's not enough.
Help
me,
However,
Jesus.
it can be the motivating
Yes,
factor.
Uh-huh.
yes, sir.
So he was saying if love is the motivating factor and love is a fruit of the spirit, would it be looked at like it would be attributed back to being done by God's will by bearing that fruit? No, because again, love could be the motivating factor for folks to get married. However, they may not be equally yoked.
Mm-hmm.
And you've already set yourself up for disaster, right? Doesn't mean God was in it. He's in us loving. But sometimes love will get you in a thing that God never told you to go into.
Jesus.
So I don't think that love is always the supporting factor or love is always the identifying thing to show that God is in it. I don't
Because
think
you
so.
should be looking for other attributes as well.
Definitely.
that complements that love,
Definitely.
you know. So yeah, I'm in agreement with that.
All right, he threw a loop in there. So let's go back. That was good though, Antoine. That was good.
Yeah.
Let's go back to what was y'all at? I told y'all I'm sleepy. Come on.
In the beginning. Oh goodness. No, we were just deciphering between the two. So there are again the people who are doing things based on their emotions, based upon, they moving too fast, they moving too slow. They want to see people um do well or not struggle and this, that, and the other. And then you have um people who are have different motivating factors. So he said love. You got people that are just doing it because they want to feel good about themselves. You got people that are doing things because they want to be seen doing a thing, not because God really told them. So, I mean, the question was, how many times have you done out of turn? How many times have you done or went and called yourself sent to a place or to a thing or to an assignment, if you will, that God didn't tell you to? And what kind of trouble that leads to? Because I mean, Jesus.
My God. So I tell myself, if you say I can only talk about me, right? No, but when I was younger, I wanted to move out of the house so bad. I just wanted my own space. I don't want the rules. I don't want all of that stuff that your parents put on you, the responsibility. I'm like, I just want to live how I want to live, do things I want to do, come and go as I please. And I'm setting myself up to leave and move out and stuff like that. And I realized, you ain't got no money. You don't have no job really to sustain being on your own. Yeah, you can make it where you are living with your parents, but to be on your own. Now, if I would have got out there and did a thing and all that, I would have been struggling. I would have been calling my parents every week. Hey, you got some money? Can you help me with my rent? Can you pay my light bill? Can you do that? Because if I would have went unprepared, one, nobody told me to go. I wasn't prepared to go out into the world on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at that. If I just went, because I set myself right, that's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
But that would have been a setup for disaster. I would have been in that place wherever it was, with no food, no money, no furniture, all these things, and too prideful to even ask for help, more than likely, right? So that would have caused a whole lot of depression and all these things too. So it's not just you just go and it doesn't affect one aspect of your life. It would have
Hello? Y'all still can't hear me. Hello? I'm getting the green. Hello? I'm coming through. I'm coming through. Hey, yeah, Woo! Y'all saw my sign language. Lord have mercy. This thing is something else. That's all right. I'm here. We here. We're all here. All right. Y'all talk then. Lord, this thing done gave me a headache today. All right. We're back. We're back. Like Verizon. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? All right. So the question was, how does the question of who told you to do prompt self-reflection? Because again, how many times have we moved out of pocket, out of place? We've gone ahead of God. We've gone ahead of time. You know, how many things have we started and been a part of that we were not prepared, or we moved out of season, that type of thing, right?
Right.
So who told you to do? How many times have people jumped on the bandwagon of something that should have been left up to somebody else or to another, right? So who told you to do? So again, how does this question prompt self-reflection and introspection? Anybody, somebody, run with it.
You gotta look at yourself, because I mean, when you're doing things out of turn, you're doing it based on you anyway. So you need to be reflecting on what was the motivating factor behind it all. What motivated you to do, to say, or to be in particular spaces that you were not called to. Ultimately, the results end up bad. Is when you doing things that are out of turn, doing what you're not called to, doing what you were not instructed to do, moving at your own pace, your own will, the results are not beneficial. You end up in the wrong places again at the wrong time, right? And so ultimately, you have to self-reflect. It causes you to look and figure out, how did I get here? What put me in this place? And then that causes you to take a look in the mirror and look at you, because you decided, you chose, you went, you said, you did.
Right.
And so then you have to figure out why. You got to ask yourself why and get down to the root of what was my motivating factor for doing whatever it is that I did. Was it the person? Was it the situation? Did I want to be in that particular space? Because like you said earlier, the glitz and the glam, did it look like a thing? What was I motivated by? So ultimately, when you're making these decisions and moving out of turn, moving without God's approval, you do have to look at you. What was the point? Why did I do that? You don't have there is no other option. You can't say, hey, God, get me out this thing. Why I'm stuck right here? No. Why did you move that way to begin with? I didn't tell you to do that. I didn't tell you to go that route. You probably didn't even seek me to find out what route you should have taken. Sometimes we just do stuff. Being busybodies. You're just doing, just going, just saying, without actually getting the approval or instruction from God.
I agree. For me, I think it's made me take ownership and have accountability for myself and my actions. When you are in a place one too many times where you're looking at, okay, well, how did I get here? You have to look at yourself. You have to look at your decisions and your motivating factors and all of those things and see who, did you send yourself? Did you just go? Why? So the motive, and then when you hold yourself, when you are accountable, I can't blame nobody else for my actions when the consequences come, right? So I can't say, well, I did that because you said or because you did, when ultimately it was still my choice. It was my decisions and all those things. Regardless of anybody else, I'm accountable for how I move, how I act, what I say, what I don't say, right? So even in that, there's a level of accountability that you have to take
but I think that you learn to take once you start realizing or looking at, how it affects you in retrospect, how things came together, how they did it. What role did you play? How did I affect my situations, my outcome? Did I create this disaster for myself? Did I, all of that. So I think it's beneficial in that way to look at, that.
Dr. GT says some are thirsty for an audience and public recognition, a need to impress others in order to receive praise.
True.
Mm.
The praises of others are people's drugs these days. Platform and entertainment and wanting to be known and wanting your name to be out there, want to be famous, want to be the next big thing and all the rest. It's like an addiction these days, right? Everybody is doing it. So I absolutely agree with you, Dr. Glendine.
I'm trying to tell you, this audience and this public recognition and this public agreements and
Correct.
public support, as you say, it is a drug because people are thriving and living off of the support of an audience. And so
what about the suppliers, the one that's validating their foolishness, giving them this public praise and and allowing right? Jesus, help the people.
That even makes me think of how many, just thinking of church and how many churches are in Chicago that were started because they were upset with their leadership.
Don't do it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Go ahead. Keep talking.
No,
shut your mouth and keep on talking.
We look on every corner, there's a church.
Yes,
every corner. There's probably a few, know, and churches across the street, down the street, around the block.
Next
we share an
door.
alley, we share a garage, all of these things because people can't submit to their leadership. They can't for one, submit to leadership and then move honorably. I'm not going to leave my church, leave my leader because I don't agree, because I can't be accountable. I can't, be held accountable. So let me just leave and start my own. That's out of order to me,
Yeah.
That is an epic fail.
Yeah.
And then we expect it to grow,
Right.
but you weren't sent.
You just went.
You just
We're not
went.
called to do that.
God ain't blessing that.
Let me tell you, because see, you just did something. You just because I can think of, when you were talking, I can think of a good 3-4 folk I know that literally started their church not because God called them to do it, but they were angry with leadership.
Yeah.
And they disconnected from a thing and started a church and expected God to bless it. It's not going to grow. It's not going to. But then there's some people that, have left ministries or whatever and started their own, and God didn't tell them to do it, and it became a thing, right? But everything that grows and grows quickly is not always God.
Right.
Because sometimes infections grow overnight, you know what I'm saying? And so it doesn't always mean it's healthy, right? But I have literally, when you were talking, I just came across my mind quite a few people that I know, because either they didn't want to take correction or because they were highly upset with how leadership was leading, that type of thing. And they, in their mind, I can do this myself. You got to be very careful in that, because this thing will end up killing you. It will smother you. And you got to be very, very careful, because who told you to do it? Who told you to do it? I feel like this, that if God told you to do a thing, you're not working to duplicate or imitate someone else, right?
Or working against
someone. That's true, because again, if God told you to do a thing and I'm doing a thing, if God told you to do it, you're not going to reach back to sabotage what I'm doing.
Correct.
You're not going to work against what I'm doing. You're not even going to speak against what I'm doing, because I don't care what you're doing. That's one of the things, is even when it comes to ministry and comes to church, I am a pastor who don't even I don't care what people doing at their church. I don't care what you got going on at Southside Church of God in Christ, Cathedral of Love, Methodist Holiness Righteousness Church. I don't care nothing about that. And I am one of those people.
What God told you to do.
God told me to do what I'm doing.
And you're busy.
And I'm too busy about my Father's business that I don't care how you lead over there. I don't care what you got going on over there. I'm not even getting in. I'm not even clicking in your lives. I'm not on your social media stuff. I'm just believing that God's gonna get his glory out of what you're doing. That's it. I pray your strength in the Lord, but I'm not interested. I'm not trying to duplicate. I'm not trying to imitate. I'm not trying to sabotage, speak against, work against, none of that, because I don't care. That's the work you were called to. That's what God assigned to you.
I'm not gonna take your stuff and put another name on it.
That's what. Oh, don't you? Y'all trying to set me up tonight. I'm
not gonna switch letters around in your name and make it my name. I'm not going to do any of that stuff, because if God called me to it, I am too busy doing the work that God called me to. So I'm not going to duplicate you. I'm not going to steal from you. I'm not going to pinch off of this part of your ministry and try to make mine grow from that, or take your parts and try to highlight it as if it's mine. That's not God called. That's a went journey, which is going to come crashing down.
Yes.
And if God called me, I don't even know what you're doing.
Right.
Because I'm too busy trying to hear and seek, what he wants me to do. Because I don't want to move wrong. You sent me, and it's a faith move too, because you don't always know where God is taking you.
Correct.
Exactly. He gives you instruction, all those things, but you may not see the full picture at once.
Right.
So a lot of times you're going by faith. You may not see everything as clearly all the time. Right. So I'm too busy in prayer and trying to figure out my next move. I don't have time to be looking at you.
Right.
I don't have time to duplicate and see what you're doing. I can't copy it because I don't know. If it turns out that we are doing something similar, that's a God thing for me, because I don't know what you're doing. So
that's kind of where I am. I feel like this. I'm too busy working and doing what I'm not trying to see what you got going on. I don't care. That's how I am, even when it comes to social media and things like that. People be like, oh, did you see this on social media? No. Because I'm the kind of person, I don't follow people I don't like.
Yeah.
So your stuff don't even come in my news feed. I didn't see. I don't see what your church got going on. I don't see what your business is doing. I don't see none of that kind of. No, I don't see it. I don't know nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. That again, who told us to do the things we're doing? Because again, if we're doing what we're doing because we're being obedient to God, it's a lot of stuff we don't even want to be bothered with. We're not even trying to. Again, God didn't put us out here to be in competition with one another. Think about this. That those of you that know, we've been talking about this podcast for a couple of years now. We've been putting this stuff, and so I don't care what somebody else. Quite a few of my friends have podcasts. Quite a few and a lot of them that comment in our comment sections, they have that. Like Willie Taylor was on here. Willie Taylor, Pastor Willie Taylor has his own podcast. He does, I believe, every Monday night. He does his own. I saw Apostle Robert Holiday clicked on. He has his own podcast. I have so many friends that have their own podcast that. We ain't in competition. We actually, some of us have conversations about, so we can make sure that we're, this thing is smooth for us. It's easy for us. And we're talking to each other. We're not working against each other.
Right.
Whenever it gets like that you got to be in competition, or you got to watch me so you can up me, or you can watch me so you can come back or get back at me, or you got to watch me because you need an idea for your next or whatever. Then no, this ain't something you should be doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that difficult it shouldn't be that hard, right? At the end of the day, I don't watch anybody's anything to try to figure out what's the next thing I'm going to talk about, or how we're going to up somebody, and how this is going to look better, how we're going. We ain't got time for that kind of stuff. Whatever God has put in your, and it's same thing. Not just I'm using example podcast, but even if it's ministry, again, there's so many ministries out here that is doing wonderful things, impacting the community, the nation, whatever they are impacting. I am not on somebody's live. I'm not trying to find out what's going on behind the scenes, how they grow like this, how this happen like that, how this work out like this, how they do what they do. None of that, because what is easy for you may destroy me. So I don't want to know your plan. I want to know the plan that God has for me in what I've been called and mandated to do. I'm not trying to hear. That's why people from other churches, you can't call me and talk about your leader. You can't call me and talk about the vision and what's happening over at that other church. You just can't do that, because at the end of the day, I have nothing to say about how another man rules his house.
That's right.
How they rule the house, leading by the Lord. Let them be, let them do. And if a person don't agree with it, then you should not be there. Move around before you bash. Move around before you try to cause discord and disconnection and all the rest. And so we've got to master to, and first understand who called us to do the stuff that we're doing. Because if the stuff that we're doing is full of hell, it ain't God.
Right.
If it's full of discord, it ain't God. If it's full of foolery, it ain't God. And we got to know that God has called and mandated for us to do the things that we are doing. Because if God called us to it, there will be a certain level of grace. Even if you're dealing with warfare, there'll still be a grace. You'll still have peace in places that it seems like you should be disturbed. You'll still have joy in places that it seems like you should be crying and screaming. No, but when God is in it, what people think your response should be, it would never be. So who told you to do it? Who told you to do it? Who told you to, who told you to start that church? Who told you to start, that business? Who told, did you just do it because somebody else made it look easy? Or did you put yourself in competition with somebody that ain't even thinking about you?
My God.
Who told you to do it? Who told you to do it? Who told you? Who told you? Who told you? And then we get mad when stuff don't advance. We get mad when stuff don't grow. We get mad when things don't work out. And then what happens is we start to sabotage another because another is advancing, growing, and maturing, but we're not. And the reason why we're upset and we're bothered is because, again, we have put ourselves in a place that God never intended for us to be. And anytime you cross lanes without having the correct signal, you'll cause an accident. All right, y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead.
You just said a whole lot. The two things that you just said was what I was gonna go with. If God has sent you somewhere, called you to do something, business, ministry, whatever it is, there's going to be a certain grace that you're going to have for that thing. So I'm not going to have to steal anybody's idea. I'm not going to have to, like you said, watch folks. I'm not going to have to be in competition with, because I already have a grace for what God has called me to do. And then the other thing, because this is something that I've actually experienced, when people are trying to go a place where they say they were sent and really weren't, you're not going to survive there. You are the wheat grown with tear. You're going to blow away and be separated at some point. You're not really planted. When you go somewhere that you claim you were sent to, it is never going to work for you. You're not, at some point, there's going to be the disconnect. At some point, there's going to be you are going to show up, right? And it's going to be seen that you don't belong. This is not your place. And you look like the misfit, right? In the space. You become, and you're seen as the one who is out of order, always going against whatever is happening. You can't seem to find your place. You got to compete with everybody in the room. You feel the need to overdo your part to try to make yourself look good and all of the rest. Because, again, if you're sent to a particular place, nothing's going to be able to sway you, because there is a level of grace. You're going to be planted for real. And I think that the people who go places or start a thing and do a thing that they were not called to, based on the fact that you're trying to one up somebody, based on the fact that you're trying to be in competition, all the rest, you have no idea what this stuff really takes, right? You don't know the work that it really takes to operate and run ministry and business. You don't really know. People just, like he said, make it look like it's simple, make it look like it's easy, but this thing will kill you and swallow you whole. And you think that because someone has success in it, that they just woke up like that it just happened and fell in their lap. No, it took a whole lot of work, whole lot of sleepless nights, a whole lot of, diligence, a whole lot of God, actual grace and favor and mercy from God to do this stuff, actual knowledge and having the ability to learn certain things, skill set, right? Discipline, all the rest, stuff that you don't even want to do. You don't want to be disciplined. You don't want to wake up and do this stuff day in, day out. You don't have that capacity to even do this thing. And you sit here looking at the fact that a person has obtained this, gotten that, their church is successful, or their family is driving this and got these type of things. And you're looking at the outside of it, not realizing that this stuff takes work. Stuff that you don't even want to really do. You just want to have it so you could say, oh, I'm keeping up with them. Oh, I'm in the same lane as them. I'm in the same caliber as them.
My God.
You would never make it in this seat. You can't walk in these shoes. They don't fit you. Stop trying to wear my shoes.
I don't know how many people try to prove to me I'm gonna show
crazy.
him I'm still successful. Well, you ain't showing me nothing. You're not showing me anything, because at the end of the day, sometimes some of us don't care.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know how to put it no other kind of way. Some of us really don't. We don't care. We don't care, because I look at this. At the end of the day, if people can put energy, if they can put energy in the right places, then they could be more successful. Put energy in the right places. If God didn't tell you to build a table, master sitting and working at somebody else's, right? You don't have to get up from my table and prove to me that you can build a table, because your table may be half leaning.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're not a real contractor. You don't know how to put it together. And so I think if we can change our minds and get out of this I'll show you mentality. I'll show you. At the end of the day, how many people have started businesses and those businesses are not producing well because they wanted to show somebody that they could be successful too. However, the thing is folding.
Exactly.
So what are you successful at? Some people are only successful in tearing stuff up.
Come on.
Well,
you gonna kill yourself trying to prove something to me.
Well,
run yourself ragged.
So the topic is just what you said. Who told you?
Yeah.
Who told you to do the struggles of growing what you were never called to do? So when you look at struggles, then what comes from that, you're gonna, when, like you say, when you find yourself trying to duplicate or do something because someone else is doing it, you find yourself seriously in a struggle. And now what you're doing is that you're fighting and you're battling, and it has become forceful for you. Or even when you look at struggle, it's like it's a violent effort to get free of something. So now you find yourself under different attacks, because you were not called to this position here. You just saw it looking good and you wanted to duplicate what you thought you could duplicate, but then it wind up being a struggle. So who even told you to put yourself in that predicament?
Because anything that you do that you were not ordained or mandated to do is going to be a struggle.
It is.
Exactly. But pay attention to this. The things in being obedient to God can produce struggles.
It can.
So can you imagine
exactly
being out of the will of God and going ahead of God, moving ahead of God and not in sync with God? Can you imagine the burden can you imagine the weight and all? Yes, that is like unwarranted and uncalled for issues that you have demanded to come upon you because I don't understand. It's unnecessary.
It's unnecessary.
It's unnecessary.
Crazy.
It's unnecessary. So we got to stop being greedy and
Foolish.
Yeah.
My God, my God. You are joining the Graceful Exchange live podcast. This is our Wednesday night live, and we're grateful. Y'all talk to us. Y'all talk to us. Let's see what the audience is saying. Let's see what the audience is saying here tonight. All right. I saw Apostle Robert Holiday. He said there is room for all of us, and that is so true.
That's
And we've
true.
got to remember that there is room for all of us. There's room for all of us. And if we stay in the will of God, God can multiply what he's called us to do.
Right.
Right?
True.
All right. What Mama Jones say? She said, right, manipulation won't work either. Who told you to do it? Manipulation surely won't work. Not over here.
Right.
Exactly.
We don't live in a place called manipulation. We don't live there. And so oftentimes people they'll manipulate where they are. And if they can't get what they want, then they'll move around and say God told them to do a thing.
Ashley says some people have a point to prove to themselves.
Who is that?
Ashley Jones.
Oh, I see her.
Yeah, she says some people they have a point to prove to themselves.
All right.
Yeah,
That's true.
it's true.
That's true. Some people have a point to prove to themselves then that they are just as good or better that have to heal. Yes, Lord.
They have to
It
heal.
definitely have to heal because you will wear yourself out. You will exhaust
You
yourself
will.
trying to prove to somebody that you
Yeah.
could do something better.
Right.
Especially, look, you will kill yourself trying to prove something to me.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I don't look at what you show me.
Yeah.
I read through.
Uh-huh.
I see through.
Mhm.
So what you can show me with the natural eye, first of all, I'm not easily impressed. I'm not impressed. And at the end of the day, you could try to prove that what you do, how you move is better, but it means nothing, matters not to a person who's not in competition.
Mhm.
So,
And does not care.
and doesn't care.
Like,
Because
Exactly.
now my mentality is this. I'm not going to put more energy into what you got going on because that doesn't pay me.
mhm.
Hello.
That don't pay me. I don't live off that
Right.
and nothing else. I have too much to build. I have too much to work
Correct.
toward. I got too much to be responsible and govern, to
Mhm.
waste time paying attention to what other people are doing.
Correct.
And I think if people actually shift their mind and build for real,
Mhm.
build for real and build for sure, then we won't be bothered by what other people got going on. And we'll have a desire to stay in the will of God. I think
Yeah.
that's more
Yeah.
than anything
Yeah.
is who told you to do it.
Yeah.
If God didn't tell you, get in his will.
Yeah.
You'll cry less, get in his will.
You will.
You'll worry less,
You'll
get in his
struggle
will.
less.
Right.
You'll struggle less if you get in his will. Everything is
Yeah.
about getting in the will of God. And I think if we can put the same energy into getting in God's will that we put in trying to prove to social media platforms
Mhm.
that we're succeeding and advancing, because that becomes people's that's their life now.
Yeah, it
Folks'
is.
life is to prove to social media land
Mhm.
that I'm succeeding. Prove to social media
Mhm.
land that God is blessing me, and all of that. Nah, stop wasting your energy.
Yeah.
That's why I don't live to prove anything to social media, because at the end of the day, social media don't pay no bills.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Social media is not they're not my in and out, up and down.
Right.
They're not my
So
because I'm trying not to say the wrong stuff.
Apostle Holiday says this, which makes a lot of sense. He says a lack of self-confidence and awareness make people not understand the purpose of their life. So we imitate others.
Now that's the truth.
It's the truth.
That's the truth.
It's the absolute truth.
That's the truth. This imitating and trying to
Yeah.
duplicate
Yeah.
and all the
Uh-huh.
rest. Oh my God.
Looking for validation.
Who told you?
Who told you?
Who told you to do it?
Like, I don't know who I am, but you look good. What you're doing
Yeah.
is good. So let me go with that.
Yeah.
And let me outdo you doing you.
But you can't.
You know?
You
Look, I've
can't.
had people sit at my table
Ooh,
and hear my vision.
hell.
I've had people
Yeesh.
that literally, when I say sat in the room and had an assignment to help me carry out the assignment
My
and
God.
ran to do what I'm literally sharing with you what I'm preparing to do because you're supposed to be a part of my team.
Right.
But
Lord
I
Jesus.
realize that some people, they have no vision.
Nope.
So they
Mhm.
feed off of visionaries.
Yes.
Mhm.
They feed off of creatives,
Mhm.
right? And I've had over the years people sit at my table just to hear and
Mhm.
pick my brain. Then they run with it thinking that it's going to work. But God ain't gonna bless a mess.
Yeah.
And then you'll sit here ready to kill yourself
Mhm.
off of something that God mandated for me to carry out
Right.
and not you. And that happens very often. And people find themselves again duplicating and mimicking a thing that was never for them. It was never mandated. We gotta stay in the wheel. We gotta stay in the wheel.
People are so big on being the head man in charge and being on top, being number one and being the leader. And, they want to be the apostolic apostle of all the Episcopal apostles and all the rest, right? They want to be on top of the top. I got to be ahead of you. I got to be above you. That they don't realize the benefit of just being the help. People have talked about the help. People throw shade at the help, but it's okay to help advance another
Mhm.
because
Faithful over that
in
to
that,
pertaining to another man.
you're building something that is beneficial, yes, to the person whose vision it is, but then when you become a part of that vision, you do reap, right? You still reap and grow. Right. And I think instead of, and somebody said on our last podcast, I saw in the comments, instead of people competing, people got to learn and grasp the knowledge and the understanding of collaboration. You could get a lot further
It's an anointing
if you collaborate with me versus trying to beat me at what I'm actually good at. You don't even know how to do this thing. You have no knowledge and understanding of business, ministry, or none of the rest, but you want to compete with me in doing it. Right. It doesn't even make sense. And then to try and bash or kill the reputation of or talk down on someone that has something proven because you want to look like you know how to do a thing blows my mind. Versus, and that's why I say people, you don't want to get in the will of God. You don't want to know. You don't really know what the will, because that will cause you to humble yourself. That'll cause you to turn from all of what you're doing. Ain't none of what you're doing in the will. You're just moving and doing, trying to, like y'all said before, prove a thing in the public, prove a thing on social media to the folks out there that actually do pay attention to y'all. And again, you're doing this thing and you look like death.
Jesus.
You might not be dead in the natural, but we can see you and it reeks.
I'm trying to tell you.
Like spiritually, you're depleted. Face dark and ashy. You crummy, dusty, disgusting. It ain't working out for you. There's no life to nothing you got going on. Just because it looks like you're moving does not mean there's progress. Just because something look like you got some stuff going on, don't mean that that's what's really happening. It's all smoke and mirrors. And again, nothing that you do in that sense, when you weren't really called to it, is gonna last, because it's almost frivolous. I'm just kind of doing it just to do or to say that I've done a thing. You wasting your own time. And again, you're gonna run yourself to the ground trying to do that. People got to get in their purpose. People have to find and understand their identity and who they are. This thing is sick out here because you're trying to be someone, again, that you can't fill their shoes. You can't do what they're called to do. You wouldn't even last a day trying to do what another is called to do, no matter what their assignment is. It could be the janitor. You would not be able to last in the janitor's shoes if you were not called to be the janitor.
I'm trying to tell you.
Period.
I'm trying to tell you.
I know. I'm with you on that.
Because I'm not trying to sweep mops.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
let the janitor be the janitor.
I'll do it here and there.
Yeah.
That could be
every day,
the
all
janitor
day.
That's sweeping, mop the
There's a
floors,
level of grace.
up and down the stairs. That's
It's a
cleaning
level
the
of grace.
toilets.
That wasn't
Okay,
grace.
that's called to clean up your filth.
Yeah.
It's grace to do that, right?
Yeah.
But if you think you want to compete, I'm gonna be the better janitor, you be to kill yourself off the fumes of the chemicals.
Right. Alone.
Relax.
Don't even know how to ventilate.
Don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean by
Walk
people
in
gotta
your own
find their
shoes.
lane. Get
Yeah,
in your
walk-
lane and
yeah.
stay there. And then don't try to beat me somewhere. my pace ain't your pace.
I'm
You know what
trying
I'm
to tell
saying? I might go a little quicker than you, or vice versa. I'm not looking at your speed. I'm not trying to figure out how you got there quicker than me, or why I'm not getting. No,
Right.
I have to do things at the pace that God told me to. I got to do this thing right, because then if I'm going too fast trying to catch up with you, I might miss a step.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I might
Well,
miss
you will.
a step. And then what? Then I
Yeah.
got to backtrack anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like you're
you fell and
wasting
face
time.
planted.
You're
Yeah.
wasting time.
I just think how unhappy you must be
Okay.
once you one up me, once you've succeeded in whatever you're trying to do, and I don't care because I'm moving with God. How happy are you? Because you can't be that happy trying to duplicate and be me. And what about you? I know who I am, so I'm moving in that. You don't know who you are, so you're moving in what I'm doing. How unhappy is that to live that way? To try to see and steal another's vision because you don't have your own. That has to be a sad soul, because you can't tell me that you're happy and you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that you're happy and you don't have no type of vision, no type of plan for what you want to do in your life that has nothing to do with me. You can't tell me you're that happy when you aren't accomplishing any goals without one-upping me, without trying to be in competition with the next person.
Can't tell me that you're happy when you went over there, but you loved it over here. We know. It's all right. I know. Let's stay hard.
You petty.
I know. I'm so sorry about the whole thing.
You petty. We're not being
I
petty.
know, mother. Hey, Jesus.
Lord have mercy. Rachel put, let me go back to it. Rachel put, you can't compete
Come on.
where you can't compare. Bibi Ashando. Shanama. You can't compete where you don't compare. And where you can't compare, rather. Right? You can't compete. I think, again, competition is for the birds.
For weak people.
Yeah.
It's for the birds. Ain't nobody trying to compete with nobody.
Yeah.
The bottom line is, who told you to do it? Who told you to do it?
Yeah.
You wouldn't got a new car because I wouldn't got a new car. But
Yeah,
you
already
gonna
had-
stress to pay for yours.
Right.
And I paid for mine straight
See,
out. You see what I'm saying? So you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Be
satisfied where you are.
That's what I'm
until
saying.
God moves you.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing wrong with the Corolla.
I'm trying to
It
tell you.
moves.
I'm
It
trying to
works.
tell you.
Now they gotta
Nothing
go
wrong,
get a
you know?
house.
Nothing.
Right. Right. Look,
much.
yeah, now I get a new house. Now you gotta come see my house. Now you gotta try to find a house that get you. No, come on. That's
My God.
that's immature.
It is.
Mhm.
It's immature.
Yes.
I never forget when the Lord blessed us with our new church. It's been 8 years, right? A little over 8 years. And you would be blown away with the amount of pastors that called and said, I want to see your building. I want to see your building. And I came and walked them through the building. And then all they want to know is, so how did you do it? How did you get it? Now,
Mhm.
I didn't hold back. I told people what my process was, whatever. And some people couldn't even be happy.
That's
They couldn't
sad.
be happy.
Yeah.
I never forget somebody called me and said, yeah, because I'm trying to get a building like yours, but I want it to be a little bit bigger than yours. And this, what's all that for?
Subtle shade.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was, but this thing would kill you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It would kill you.
Uh-huh. Because it would have been folded.
Man, oh man.
And
Yeah.
and then you end up, it's almost like, even I remember people used to reach out to my staff members and stuff like that, my past administrator, and they would, before people knew that, everybody didn't know that Pastor Paulie was my cousin. So people call her, and try to talk to her to try to find out how I do some of the things that I do and whatever. So they start trying to get close and connect to find out, how is he succeeding? How is he this, that, and the other? What is the apostle got going on? What is the apostle doing? And they would try to find certain little things out by pulling the people that were close. It still happens because they would do it even on the ministerial side or whatever. People will pull people because they were close to me, thinking that they knew. One thing is that I'm smart enough not to tell you everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you did sit at the table. You
Mhm.
still
Don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
you got a
Yeah.
very little
Yeah.
because I don't trust folks. You see what I'm
Correct.
saying? And the little that you got felt like a lot to you.
Uh-huh.
But could you
Because you don't
imagine?
have nothing.
Because you
So when you don't have nothing,
Did you hear
a
that mic
little
drop?
bit seems like a lot. See?
that was a mic drop.
Yeah.
My God.
So I'm never in competition, and that's
Yeah.
one thing. You know, I've said many times. You know, God called me to be an eagle. I know who I am.
Yeah.
So I don't compete with pigeons.
Uh-oh.
I don't compete with pigeons. I'm not for the birds. I'm an eagle.
Yeah.
I'm an eagle. And so until you understand eagle language, you'll never understand me.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So we got to get to a point where we surround ourselves with eagles. Look at your neighbor and tell them, surround yourself with eagles.
Surround yourself with eagles.
Surround your, but you know what? But you know what? Who told you to do it? But you know what, too? I look on the flip side of this. Just because, again, that I've known you and been connected to you, does that mean that I got to stay connected to you? Who told me to do it?
Come on.
Who told me that I have to keep a relationship with you? Who told me I
Right.
got to stay connected to you? Who told me to do it?
Help.
Who told you to do it? What you say? Because you laughing over there. What that
Rachel
say?
said rats with wings.
There you go. Rats will ring.
My
And
God.
she said pigeons are nasty. They are.
They are.
But she said surround yourself with eagles. And that's what we're doing. Surrounding ourselves with eagles. And so if I have to say goodbye to people that I have known forever, I don't have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. You know, I remember people would be like, I used to change your diapers. I don't care. That means absolutely nothing. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because that means absolutely nothing to me now. You see what I'm saying? If you are not honorable, I don't care how long I've known you.
But people play on that.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
People play on that. Oh, I know you for 40 years. I know you for 30 years. Okay, and you still dirty. Like your point. Okay, and you still have malicious ways. Okay, and you're still jealous. What is your point? You knowing me, you having relationship, us having relationship for however many years does not equate to a person's loyalty. Doesn't mean that you don't mean that you on the same
integrity.
It don't mean that you on the same wave as me and that we're going in the same direction. At this point, I need to drop you off because you dead weight and you're keeping me from going where I need to go anyway. So I'm not understanding why people like to play on the whole time thing. Now, see, I think I'm just a whole lot different because I mean, I look at a lot of people and I admire that, like people who have people that have been around for that long. Cause I ain't that person. I'm very cut off quickish type of person, which might not be always good, but that's why I don't have a big circle, right? That's very tight. But it comes to the point where it comes to the point where
What is happening?
I don't know. It just started. Hallelujah.
What is happening? I hear something. Hello?
Hallelujah.
Is it off?
Yes, sir.
Can y'all still hear me on the Graceful Exchange Live podcast? Can y'all hear me?
Okay.
All right. I don't know what's going on. What is happening?
It just popped back in.
What? Oh. Jesus Christ. Oh, I tell you, this thing has been challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conversation get had.
something. Say something.
Hello, hello.
No, no, can't hear you. Apostle is doing signs.
There you go.
There you go.
Hallelujah.
We're back.
We're back.
Boy, I tell you.
Help Jesus.
I'm telling you, I don't know. It always happens. It always happens.
Yes, it always,
Always happens.
The Graceful Exchange podcast.
Podcast with
Ooh.
bootleg sign language.
My God.
All right, we're back. We're back. Do me a favor, like and share, please. If you have not shared this, you are doing a disservice to us. Share, please. Share. Don't be
It's
ashamed.
free.
It's free.
Listen, let me tell y'all something. If you are watching this and you have not shared this, remember this. If you be ashamed of me before social media,
My God.
I'll be ashamed of you before your father. You better share this thing. Want to watch but don't want to share.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Devil, I rebuke you.
Uh-uh.
Listen, we are having a good, graceful exchange on tonight. We are talking about who told you to do. Who told you to do? It's the struggles of growing what you were never instructed or called to do. It is hard to grow a thing that you were never instructed or called to do. It is hard to advance. It is hard to succeed in an area that God never mandated for you or was never a part of your becoming, right?
Mhm.
And so it is very difficult again to advance in an area that God didn't call you to. So make sure whatever you're doing, you've been called to do it.
Yeah.
Make sure whatever you're participating in, make sure that you're not connected to things that that's producing no life. That has no life to it. That is not producing anything and just doing it just for the sake of.
Right.
I think that's what bothers me more than anything when you see people who connect with people that have nothing really going on for the
Right.
sake of what?
Yeah.
What's the point? What's the point? But who told you to do it? Who told you to dishonor me?
Mm. My
You
God.
talking about me?
That's not petty though. That's a real question.
Say all the real things.
You real. You've been saying real stuff, but you've been real petty too. You've been real petty. But look,
Petty would be saying the name.
oh,
That would be petty.
The
So I'm just making it real general.
Come on.
Everybody got to hear.
come
Amen.
on.
My God.
But listen. Who told you to dishonor me?
People.
Who told you to do
The devil himself.
it? Who told you?
Hurt feelings
And
told
them.
me. Ego told me.
Hurt feelings,
E-
ego,
Ego.
Satan.
right?
Lies.
Just to
Jealousy.
try to bring you down
Definitely
because of the way
jealousy.
that I'm feeling.
Lack of identity.
Offense.
Relevancy.
Relevant.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All of that told me.
Who?
Intimidation.
Intimidation. Now that's true. I
Social
didn't realize,
media.
I didn't realize
Rashonda
that certain
said.
people was intimidated. They're
Oh,
sweating
yeah.
down. They not, but they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Jealousy,
Yeah.
envy. Rashonda said, social media. Yeah, social media told you. Social media said dishonor him.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Uh,
Who told you to dishonor me? Who told you to do it? Who told you to lie on me?
That dark and show counsel.
Yeah.
Who told you to do it?
Whoever that Lord is, they following that said the Lord sent them
Yeah.
because it ain't the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
I keep telling
Yeah.
y'all though,
It's
I ain't,
another one somewhere gotta be.
I don't know. I people can only be people, right?
That's it.
They can only be themselves, and
Yeah.
we've said that every show.
Every
Right?
time.
They can only be themselves. But who has darkened your counsel?
You. I'm talking about them as the you, as in themselves. That's always going to show up. Here's the thing: the counsel was always darkened.
Pride.
It was just camouflage.
The counselor
Yeah,
Mm.
was dark.
absolutely.
Pride.
I saw that Sister Nat put lack of emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dr. GT says, how do you feel about the people who say the Lord told me to tell you to do and you are not feeling it? Who? Who?
Well.
Because surely, let me tell you,
Listen.
I keep telling y'all, I can only talk about me.
Mhm.
I've had
I'm
people.
getting on the shirt.
Yeah.
I've had people that tell me or have told me in times past, the Lord told me, to say this, to do this, or tell, like you said, the Lord told me to tell you to do,
Mm-mm.
oh, that's demonic. Cause I ain't gonna lie, people even they'll
Yeah.
use prophetic manipulation,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
it's so much. I've had people over the years that I've witnessed them prophesy folks out of ministries.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
That the Lord said you need to leave. The Lord said you need to get, and the Lord ain't said nothing.
Nothing.
It's typically a leader who is trying to pull people to themselves, and so they will use God to prophetically manipulate people, to dismiss themselves, to dismiss themselves.
It was
Um,
going down my
oh, okay. I thought that was her stomach. I'm like, did her stomach? I thought it was
You know that was your stomach.
Now I am known to have a mean crowd, but that was not me today.
Woo, that's why I paused. I'm like, wait, hold up. All I heard was that was you talking.
It was
Hilarious.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Praise
It's
God.
wonderful water in the house.
Oh,
Glory to God.
But I've had people that have said, they will definitely use, the Lord told me to tell you to do a thing. You got to know that it is God. That's one thing.
Exactly.
Nobody should be able to manipulate you prophetically, because
Correct.
what someone is speaking should give some level of agreement in your
Come
spirit
on.
if you're spiritual.
Correct.
But see, people look for those as well. The people who
The
are
weak.
getting manipulated prophetically,
Yeah.
it's because number one, you actually wanted them to
Yeah.
say that.
You looking
Something
for
in
it.
you wanted that out, wanted that
Exactly.
exit. Because otherwise, if somebody ever, people know who to try. Because I wish
Exactly.
you would. But
But they already know.
if you
like
came
you
to me and
said.
said something like that to me, I'm gonna go check with my own leader. I'm not gonna let
Mhm.
anyone just tell me a thing and me not fact check it if I feel a type of way or if I'm uncertain or no. If I have a leader that I'm connected to, that I love so much, that I'm, I go to their house all the time. I can't go somewhere else.
Mhm.
Let somebody prophesy a thing to me and then me just roll with it. No, you giving weak.
It
It's
don't
giving
even
weak. I'm
seem-
sorry. I can't.
I mean, yeah.
I can't give them an out either.
Yeah.
The prophetically manipulated person, I can't
Yeah.
give them an out, because if you have a leader, I feel like the first thing that you should do, you gotta go tell your own. Why not? Why wouldn't you go tell your own leader what's been prophesied to you?
But why can't you even use wisdom?
They don't have it. So let's
As
just
to
say
say-
we're giving them the excuse that they're a babe in Christ and they didn't know.
Most
and
of
all
these
the
folk don't
rest.
be babes.
Right.
They don't.
They don't.
I'm trying to give them some type
No,
of
they don't be
right?
babes, and they
We
can
don't
use
know.
some type of
I'm
wisdom,
unwise.
even if it's worldly wisdom. I'm just gonna take a step out that way. You know when right is right and wrong is wrong.
Exactly.
I don't care.
I'm trying to tell you.
You cannot tell me. First I have to examine me. And once I examine me, then I examine my surroundings. And then I know that the Lord didn't. You can't come and tell me that the Lord told me to leave my place where I said that He placed me here after I examine why. Why would He tell me to leave? What's going on? What has happened? Why do I have to leave? No, I'm going to want to know all of those questions.
Because it agrees with their spirit. The
But
Lord
you know
didn't
what?
tell them.
But you know what? What's funny to me is when people say, the Lord told me to tell you that you need to leave that place. And, that's not the place for you. And this, that, and the other. And, they try to find fault.
Mhm.
But they always tell it to the people who have caused the problem.
But the person who they told, even if they trying to win those people,
They do.
the
They need to win.
person that they told, once they get with them, as we continue to say every podcast, the real you is going to show up, and this is going to be a vicious cycle that continues on no matter what. So these people need to get somewhere and find some rest.
They should be tired. Sit down.
My Lord.
He said, "Fine rest."
Yeah. and
Look, who
rest.
told you to
Because
prophesy?
there
Who told
is
you to
rest.
prophesy
There's
like
rest for the weary. There is.
Yeah,
Who told
it
you to do
is.
that? Who told you to prophesy?
Yeah, I
And
had
what you say, Mama?
a friend
Be careful.
try that with me.
It's gonna be. I'm
Sure
trying to
will.
tell you, you gotta be careful. It's gonna be an eternal rest.
Yeah.
God, seriously, people gotta quit playing.
Stop
Yeah.
playing with God.
Exactly.
You gotta quit
Stop
playing.
Yeah.
Quit playing with
I don't
God.
understand how people do that. That's scary.
Yeah,
That's scary. Woo,
yeah.
it's
But
scary.
it bothers me on all the levels, though. Not even just with church thing. When people throw
Yeah.
God on stuff all the
Mhm.
I
time.
know.
When they be like, the Lord said, and
Mhm.
the Spirit said, and
But that's a
Like,
form of blasphemy. For
if
real
you
now.
don't
Let's
stop
go take
with
it.
all
You know
this
what I'm
false
saying?
extra, you're lying.
You're in trouble.
Preachers
You don't even talk
And
to
that's
God
why
like
you
that.
can't progress.
So how do
y'all
you
playing
get
with God
Mm-mm.
like that?
Well, one thing I've learned from look, one thing I learned from a true prophet, a real one, they don't have to say all the time, the Lord said and God said, and the Lord will have me to say unto you.
They just start talking.
They just start speaking. Like
they're gonna
most of the
speak
time,
with
he's not
real
gonna give
good
you that,
sound
that first ad lib or what the
Mhm.
Lord said.
Yeah.
He's just going to speak as God, right? He's the voice, the mouthpiece. I don't have to give you the prelude, and then you're going to know.
You
Mhm.
Your
know.
spirit is gonna know. Like you're nothing in your brain is gonna be like, ooh, you ain't. No,
And
it's
that's
gonna
whether
hit
you
you.
agree, meaning you like what they saying or not.
Yeah,
Because I've had
It's
words
hard
to
come
me
back
like,
anyway.
you know,
It is.
who you talk, this ain't God. Can't be, because I didn't want to hear that, but I knew it
'Cause I know it
was.
was of God.
But even then, it's like, okay, I know you are of God. And I know that I don't want to hear this. And then it's even been spoken even here, even apostle, like, I know you don't want to hear this.
Mhm.
And then he'll
He'll tell the
continue.
truth.
You know, I know you don't want to hear this. However, he continues.
Uh-huh.
How can I argue with that? You know, I know what God's, I know that God,
because your
you know,
spirit
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah.
Even if it's something that's a rebuke or correction,
Yeah.
that conviction hits you.
Mhm.
That's
You know.
still God.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, who told these people prophesy? Who told these people be church hopping? Who told these people to be doing what they doing? Just lying.
Who told you to do?
Dishonoring.
Who told you to do?
Oh,
This
well.
is good, y'all. This is
Mhm.
good. You have joined the Graceful Exchange Live podcast, and our episode has been on Who Told You to Do? The struggles of growing what you would never instructed or called to do. You will always find a struggle. You will always find trouble in that land when you move out of the will of God, move ahead of God, around God. If it does not have the blessing of the Lord attached to it, if it does not have the approval of God, you will always find yourself in a struggle and in a battle. Praise Jesus.
Yes.
You can break your own heart doing that too.
That's why they
Moving
some people look like a
when God
battle.
didn't tell you to, and
Yeah.
blessing when God didn't tell you to,
Mhm.
and encouraging folks that that was never really what was said to do. You
Oh,
just kind of did
Jesus.
because
You always, I told you,
See
you
ya.
petty.
it's in your heart to
You're
do.
petty. You
Lift
petty.
your hands.
You petty. You
But I'm
petty.
just saying
No, you petty.
that
Y'all
can
hear that?
hurt a little
You hear that?
bit.
Hey, you're blessing who God didn't tell you to bless. You're helping who
Man.
God didn't tell you to
Man of
help.
God,
You petty.
this is transformative healing from within.
BB Ashanda.
That's the one.
Dynamite. Whatever. You petty. Because
But
that's true. 'Cause
It
I-
is.
You
I
petty
mean-
because that's true.
That's true. Look, how many years have God? I shared that with
Yes.
with the
Mhm.
church before.
Mhm.
But you still being petty. I shared it with the church. I ain't asked you to say it again on the podcast. That God had to get me together because there were times where I told God, like, how could you let these people do this to me when I ain't been nothing but good to them and I helped them and I this and the
Right.
other? The Lord said to me, did I tell you to do it?
Mhm,
Was it me or was it your heart?
mhm.
You can't be upset because you moved following your heart
Yeah.
and I didn't instruct you. Every time you bless people, I didn't tell you to bless them.
Mhm.
And that's true. I couldn't argue with it. I couldn't
Yeah.
get mad. But I didn't ask you to be petty
Well, I
tonight.
mean,
You got
I
the
think
petty. You
everybody
got
sitting at this table in one way or another has experienced the whole doing, moving, saying, being when we weren't instructed to,
Mhm.
when we were not called
Absolutely.
to.
yeah.
Like, you know, I don't want to throw this hammer in there, but think about me being married twice. I mean, the Lord didn't say to do. I can be honest about this thing now. He didn't tell me to do that. I did that. And that causes a heartbreak. That causes a suffering. It causes a struggle, right? We put ourselves in these situations sometimes because we want to save a person. We want to see a person do well and be good. Oh, I
Right.
think that I'm in such a good place that I got enough in me. I'm a prayer warrior. I can help you out
think
this
you
thing.
Captain Save us.
No.
Mhm.
Hello. and they do not get saved no more. Okay. But the thing is,
That was
you
good.
can't. We sit here and
Yeah.
try to
Yeah.
people with good hearts. I've seen a pattern. We believe in our minds that we can save people.
Mhm.
And to a
Absolutely.
certain degree, we can be of a benefit and
Mhm.
such of a wonderful blessing to these folks, right? Until you get tired of their foolishness, then again, we get to the place where now you are the worst thing in the world. But I wasn't the worst thing in the world to you when I was paying for you, when you were driving my car and all the rest, right? We're not gonna run down the list because he told me I'm being petty. But the thing is, my point is, we put ourselves when God didn't tell us to, right?
Mhm.
You moving out of
Like the seven
love
sons
ain't
of
enough. Love ain't
Get
enough.
beat up.
Infatuation ain't enough, right?
Uh-huh.
All that's it's not enough to be
Mhm.
moving on your own terms, and you can save yourself some trouble, some
Mhm.
struggle, some heartbreak, some money, okay, couple cars, and all the rest. If we move with God according to how we move. Praise Jesus. That was my TED talk.
All right, what y'all got to say as we wrap
Wrap
up
it
and bring it
down.
to a close? This has been
Hallelujah.
good.
Thank you.
I even think of like the church, right?
Okay.
Ours in particular. You know, what if you listened to people and went based on people's actions and stopped? And
Talking
God
about
didn't,
me?
yeah.
Oh,
Stop
And
what?
God didn't tell you to stop. Can you imagine the place of healing and blessings and all these things that we would have forfeited? Listening
Ooh.
to and watching people,
You being petty.
you know,
Nah.
that's not being petty.
I'm
You
listening.
better
not.
go
I'm
But,
listening, but go
you
ahead.
know,
That's deep right
That's
there.
good.
And because you follow God, you know, solely regardless of what people were saying, doing,
Yeah.
how they're moving, all that in your face, because you didn't listen to that, listen to people, you follow God. Now look where you are personally, look where we are as a church, individually, all these things. We're constantly seeing God bless, constantly seeing the hand of God. But if you would have listened to people because they sent you to another place,
Right.
you know, what damage would they have done across the board?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm grateful that you did listen to people, that you didn't go,
Yeah.
that you went because you were sent by God and not by people. You know, they sent you home, but this is home. So God's house, you know, that's the house of life. You know, that's all.
That's deep. That's deep, Tony. I guess I could, well, not I guess, but I can say that I'm now grateful that I continued on because I was trying every which way to get out. Because in my mind, okay, you 20 years in, you got to deal with this foolery. You ain't got to deal with people that don't want God for real, you know. And I'm smart enough that I can do 1,000 other things, which I already do. But what people and what I guess what people don't realize is this or preaching, pastoring. If I can say it like this, it's fruitful, but it is the less fruitful of everything I do. If you understand.
Yeah.
Very fruitful from the blessing and empowering people, being present for people, serving, and all of that. and seeing people delivered, healed, saved, all of that. Very fruitful in that. However, out of all that I do, it is the less fruitful
Right.
Yeah.
when it comes to my livelihood.
Yeah.
So, because not many pastors can say that they pastored for 20 years and never been on salary. I can say that. I've never been on salary for 20 years. The church has never taken care of me for 20 years. Never taken care of me. And all my businesses is how I live. You see what I'm saying? So it was almost like I'm dealing with 100 different attitudes, dispositions. I'm dealing with a bunch of, in ministry over the years, 20 years, so many accusations, lies, and
Yes.
all of the other foolery.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this for free.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so at least if I'm going to deal with this, pay me for dealing with it.
Yeah.
But I'm dealing with this for free, and it is the, and I have for years, and I don't ever have a problem saying that I've carried our church for 20 years. And y'all that work with, I've carried our church for 20 years. So can you imagine carrying this, getting nothing from it to live? It is exhausting to deal with people and their drama when I can do what I do
Right.
and live.
Stay out there, man.
Because I learned over the years that the pulpit is not my identity.
Yeah.
There's more to me than just getting up preaching. There's more, because I can preach anywhere I go.
And do.
I can sit at a table
dinner.
and I can preach anywhere. And so I don't need to be behind a podium
Right.
to do ministry. I can do ministry. I've always said I'm a marketplace apostle. I can go into the business atmosphere and sit at a table with people and minister, but my thing is that I have literally gone through these things and I'm like, God, can you let me out? And I always was reminded of what Mother York used to always say, ministry it's a lifelong sentence. Ministry is a lifelong sentence. Now, pastoring don't have to be lifelong.
Exactly.
Right.
True.
But ministry is.
Correct.
Right? I don't have to pastor until God calls me home.
No, you don't.
But ministry is who I am. And I can do that,
Right.
until God calls. Because that's my
right.
job, is to preach and to teach and to go into all the world. However, there's been oftentimes, and even in this last season, I wanted out. However, I'm grateful that I didn't forfeit and abort, because we're on everything that we go through has an expiration, right? Even my last season expired a long time ago. It's only people who reach back to remain relevant that try to stay in my present, but they're really a part of my past.
Yeah.
But because they keep trying to be relevant in today, through whatever way they try to be relevant, it keeps them in the present. However, they're part of the past. The season is over and I'm on the other side of it. And so I'm in a peaceful place now, right? I'm in a joyful place. And, think about over the last few months, all of these new people we have embraced.
Yeah.
All of these new people who love God, who are faithful, who are committed,
Come here hungry.
came hungry, came knowing who they serve.
Yes.
Don't have to beg them to
Come
do
from the
anything.
ground.
They show up, they come, they participate.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. If I would have aborted, that's how I know God called me to do this. And who told me to do Remnant Empowerment Center and the Couch Experience? Nobody but God. Because the Couch Experience has blessed people who said I was never going back to a church. They've come in. They've come in
And
They-
not only people, not to cut you off, but
go
not
ahead.
only people who say they would never, that had been to a church and say that they never would come back to a church. But what about people who had never been to church as adults?
Now that's
They're
true.
coming.
That's
Yep.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Those the ones.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And they are adults.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 They had never been to a church.
Never been to a church.
Coming and joining.
Came and joined. And
Seeing
yes,
the continents, their continents, it's changing.
that's so true. So
yeah,
true.
you can see them lighten. Yeah.
Mhm. That's so true.
I'm glad, like
So-
the rest of them
I
on
think
here
it's-
saying that you didn't.
I didn't forfeit. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. No.
I think
Glory.
it's amazing too that the couch experience was a thing before
Yeah.
it became what
thing.
everybody sees
Yeah.
today. Like this was something that he wanted to do probably 2.5 years
I
ago.
incorporated
It was a while ago. But when you're in God's will, according to his timing, and you're doing things according to his plan, it had to be at this time, right? Certain things, people, all of that, certain stuff had to happen in order for the couch experience to be what it is today. I don't think that we would experience it in its fullness if we still had certain baggage, if we were still in the same season, if we were still in a place of frustration and battling in the ministry and all of the rest. It's such a free place now that the couch experience can be the transformative place
That's
of
true.
healing, where people come in this place. I don't know how many times we have heard from January till now, people who have remained and new people coming here and say all the time, there is such a peace here. There's such a peace here.
Yeah.
It feels so peaceful coming in here. This is so, I feel so relaxed. Like I love this atmosphere and it's so this and we have never heard it this much.
Right.
In
Right.
the 3 years that I done been here, you
Right.
know, so it's like, you can tell, and we toiled up in here. We prayed and we, you know, did some things
to
prior
uproot.
to the couch experience
to uproot.
coming, right?
Yeah.
But at the beginning of the year, it's like hit the ground running and go with God. And the fact that you remain, and then to see people, even like your daughter, like Ty, and all of us be encouraged off the fact that you remain and did not stop, that lets you know that I am doing what I'm called to do, that I am going with God, because there ain't no struggle right here. I'm not frustrated.
Yeah.
I'm not frustrated with people and they stuff, right? You know, we still got life going on, but this thing ain't what's hindering me. The people, the frustration of pulling and being able, having to preach the hard stuff and having to always,
Right.
you know, battle when I come in the sanctuary. It feels good. It feels
Yeah.
good. You know, it's very different. So I'm grateful as well. It's a whole new, it's the after. Like we can all say that we experience the after you suffered a
We're the
little while.
remnant.
It's the after, right?
The remnant. We're the ones that remain.
Hallelujah. The real remnant.
The real
There was a
remnant.
within the
Because
remnant.
even to that, because I was here, you know,
Mhm.
I've been here for a while, for a long time, right? But even to see and follow somebody who I know is following God and watch things unfold, I'm like, okay, you following God on the way he at. Me, right? Just looking at everything, but it's like to see how God has moved, it's giving me a second wind. It's giving me hope. Like, okay, there are benefits to following God. It's not just a saying. It's not just, you know, there's light at the end of every tunnel, right? The sun does shine. All these things that we say, but to see it in its fullness and the truth of it, you know, it's encouraging.
I'm telling you.
So
It really, really is. Rachel put, I don't know what part we was talking about. She said I was one of them who said it because listen, Ratchet Rachel was on the way.
I know.
That she'll never come back to church.
Huh?
When we were talking about people
Oh.
who said they'll
Okay.
never want to come back to
Yeah.
church.
Ratchet Rachel was on the way.
Ratchet.
Mother put hallelujah, 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 glory, free, free, free. And then Rachel put, yeah, you can definitely feel a difference. It is a difference. It is a difference. We are the remnant. I see y'all. We are the remnant. And so it goes back to who told you to do it, you know, and as you were saying, Tony, about me not forfeiting, and I'm grateful for the sake of those who are connected to me. And this is one of the reasons why I had to persevere through because I realized that what I was dealing with and the season that I was warring was not about me. And I had to keep going because there's so many souls that are attached and counting on me staying focused.
Right.
So I can't watch for your soul and mishandle it.
Mm.
So I have to, in watching, I've got to be very careful of the decisions I make so I won't ruin your soul. So I realized that it wasn't about me.
Mm.
I have to endure it. I got to go through it. I have to experience it. And if Jesus did it and experienced it, I'm in good company, right? And so he had to be betrayed, persecuted, lied on, and forsaken, and everything else, and who am I to feel like I don't need to and shouldn't experience nothing? It's hard. It's hard to be betrayed. It is. It's hard to be betrayed and to be lied on when you know the truth.
Absolutely.
When you know the truth, and to not be able to say nothing. That's the part. And it puts you back to when the Bible says Jesus didn't say a mumbling word. That part is the hard part, because a lot of the drama that I experienced over the last season could have actually been shut down a long time ago if I would have just posted letters, posted text messages, posted a whole lot of more stuff that I got. If I would have just posted that stuff, it would have shut everything up, shut everything down. But I couldn't say anything like I wanted to, do what I wanted to, because at the end, God was teaching me a lesson in it. God was teaching me a lesson that at the end of the day, I want to expose to you who you thought was for you. Because you thought it was just a group, not a small group, be it, 4, 5, 6. No, I need you to see the 20.
Right.
I need you to see those that were behind. In other words, throwing rocks behind their hands. I need you to see the intent of people's heart that you thought had a heart for you.
Right.
So God sometimes will keep you quiet and keep you still so you can see everything and everybody. And that's what he did. So and it goes deep. When I say it goes deep that God allowed me to see so many that I once had a heart for. And now I don't have a heart on the level of Tim. I have the heart of God, meaning I love you with the love of the Lord. But if the Lord ever stopped loving you, I ain't got nothing for you. Because it's the love of the Lord.
No, I was just getting ready to say.
Yeah.
You got to look at it like this, though. Places God are taking you, everybody can't go.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's exactly what that was.
Yeah.
Eliminate.
He had to disconnect because and that's the problem. I know that's my issue. My issue is I like to take everybody with me. That's my issue. I like to take everybody, and you can't. I like to make sure, because I like to make sure everybody is benefiting. Everybody's on the bandwagon. And I will be real. My greatest error over the years have been trying to be the savior without a conscious of doing it.
Yeah.
I just want to be the one that helps. I want to, I know what it feels like to have no help. I know what it's like to have nobody to talk to. I know what it's like to feel like you by yourself, meaning you're the one that's there for everybody, but nobody's there for you. I know what that's like. And so typically, it's just who I am to try to be that thing for people, because I don't like people to hurt. I don't like people to feel a certain way. So I do more than what I should do to make sure people feel included, make sure people feel loved, make sure that people feel, I do more because I have a heart for people, never fake and phony in what I do. Because whatever I do it from my heart.
Right.
But I have a heart for people. I don't like to see people hurt. I don't like to see people go through. you know, and I got to be very careful of that because they'll never learn the lessons, and I never want to get in the way of God,
Yeah.
you know, because people are going to have to experience what they're going to have to experience, and I
Yeah.
can't be in the way because I never want God to move me out the way. However, He would do that, you know, I don't want God to do that. So it's a learning lesson. It's a learning lesson, but that who told you to do it thing is deep because it's a lot that have been done that God didn't tell us to do. There's a lot we have been present for that God wanted us absent for. It's very, very
Yeah.
deep. It's very deep. So yeah. What is Rashonda saying? It's rare you see musicians lift their hands and freely flow, but ours are continually praising God. So that's how you can tell the freedom and glory of God is omnipresent. Now that's true. We got some wonderful minstrels and musicians here, and I agree. I look weekly, and I pay attention to that. From Tony Trinetta, even Jaleel, and now Mr. Lance, you know, but I pay attention to them and to see them authentically worshiping, see them authentically praising. Y'all remember that one week you couldn't keep none of them on the instruments. You know, I think one week Trinetta was up, she was standing up playing, you know, it was just it was just that kind of presence, you know, and I thank God it's not a forced atmosphere.
I just fell off the keyboard.
Yeah, they jumped off the keyboard, jumped off the drums.
Dance.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, Lord.
So yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let's
All right.
wrap it up. Let's wrap it up.
Wrap up.
What's the closeout? What's our closeout? What y'all got to say? Who told you to do it?
Don't you move.
You talking about me?
No. Well, yeah. You
like
did
that?
move. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
but no. Those other ones. Who told you to do it? Sit down. Sit down. Who told you to do
I'm
it?
telling you.
You wouldn't be fighting so hard, struggling so hard, trying to prove a point so hard,
Trying to prove so hard.
violently struggling, like you're trying to release out of a straitjacket or something.
Sit down.
Yeah,
Shut
just
up.
sit down. What is it?
Sit
The
your
hush.
tail
The
down.
holy hush was that what?
Give it a holy hush. Sit down. Just sit down. Examine yourself. That's what I would say. On a serious note, you know, sit down, acknowledge yourself. Examine yourself through God. You know, not through your own mind, not through you weighing yourself, but go in that word and allow God to weigh you. Examine
Hey.
yourself
Yeah.
through the word.
Yeah.
See how you are lining up. Be open and honest with who you are in God.
Right.
And then you won't have all of those struggles and everything. Just relax, release, and allow God to lead you.
Yeah. And that's what, you know, my thing is like, I don't have a problem getting along with people.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem getting along with pastors, preachers, because one thing about it is I'm not going to be phony with people.
Mm-hmm.
You never have to. If I tell you I love you, please know that I love you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say I love you just to be playing, you
Yeah.
know, because I ain't got nothing else to say.
Yeah.
You know, if I
Yeah,
rock
yeah.
with you, if I rock with you, I
Yeah.
rock with you all
Yeah.
day long.
Yeah.
I've never been that person because I'm not needy.
Yeah.
I'm not
Right.
needy on any level.
Yeah.
And so if I rock with you, I rock with you. If I don't, I don't. But I'm that person where I find favor with God and man. You know, I think what bothers me though is when man becomes jealous of the favor that's upon me and try to interrupt the favor that I have with man, because that's oftentimes what happens is somebody who can be jealous of the favor that God has placed on you. And some people don't like the fact that it's easy for you to collaborate. It's very easy for me to collaborate. I can work with people all day long on projects, on anything. I can collaborate well. And sometimes out of a spirit of envy and jealousy, people will come in and they'll interrupt, they'll attack your character and all the rest. But again, I pay attention to how people move with me. Because there's people who have gone against me now in this season just off of hearsay, narratives,
Mhm.
untruths though. But now I'm like, so you was dirty. You was a snake. You'd never meant me no good. So it exposed the hearts of people.
Yeah.
And so sometimes going back to the who told you to do it, it's exposed that it was never God in a thing. If you just keep waiting, you'll see, even if you don't hear him say, you'll see God wasn't in it, right? And so I tell people, just wait it out. Watch. But again, we got to pay for everything we say, do, how we move. Got to pay for it, you know. And stop trying to prove a thing to the world. That's one thing I'm not. Stop trying to prove something to the world, trying to prove stuff on social media, through subliminal post or through whatever it is. It's like this stuff is so old. It's so old, and it's so exhausting that we make sure that we need to make sure that we are on point and we are consistent in God, with God, moving with God. Who told you to do it? Who told you to say what you said? Who told you to move how you move? Who told you to do what you do? Who told you that? And then when we have to pay for things, when we have to pay for those things, then we want people to feel sorry for us. No, this is the fruits of what you've done. And you've got to eat the fruits of your words. You got to do it. You got to do it.
Amen.
So what I got to say, close it out. We done. Thank y'all for joining us. We're done after this. What you saying?
I thought that was.
Oh, y'all thought I was close out?
Yeah.
Are y'all done?
Yeah.
Are we done?
We're done.
We done.
We're done.
All right. Well, you have joined the Graceful Exchange live podcast. We sleepy. We tired. All right. So who told you to do the struggles of growing what you were never instructed or called to do? Can y'all stop starting churches and God didn't tell you to?
All right.
Help.
Come on.
Stop starting stuff that God didn't tell you to do. Can you stop?
Lord.
Can you stop and then expect God to advance and grow it? Because your agenda is to outdo another. Y'all better stop. You are welcoming unwarranted and unnecessary warfare if you just stop. Obey your leader and sit your tail down. Sit down. Obey. Sit down. You ain't got to be the head Negro in charge. Sit down. Sit down. It's okay to follow leadership. It's okay. It's okay to humble yourself and allow the Lord to lead and guide you. It's okay. It's okay. If you get upset because you got rebuked, it's okay. Just be angry and sin not. It's okay. It's okay. It don't always feel good, but it's for your good. So, sit down somewhere. Sit down. Stop going to everybody's church hopping.
Here and there.
Eating at everybody's dinner table spiritually. Get somewhere and sit down.
You messed up.
And then you're miserable.
Food poisoning.
Miserable.
And all that,
But gotta find something.
Chemicals.
You're trying to prove a point that God ain't. And neither are we.
Yes.
We don't care.
Yes.
There you go.
There you go.
It's been wonderful.
Yes.
It's been good. It's been nice. All right, let's go. All right, y'all. Good night. I love y'all. Good night.
Good night.
Uniting minds, graceful exchange, embracing diversity, graceful exchange, honoring God, graceful exchange, where wisdom meets harmony in every conversation.